The government is giving away free money to renters right now, and you may even be eligible. But is this a good thing? As of this past Monday, the federal government has just released, as part of their Canadian housing benefits package, something called the Rent Top-Up, which essentially allows renters to apply for a one-time payment of $500 that they can use towards rent. Now, not just anybody can apply for this Rent Top-Up. You need to meet certain eligibility requirements in order to receive the money. One of which, of course, is income. If you're a family, you need to be making less than $35,000 a year, and if you're a single income person, you need to be making less than $20,000 per year. Where did the government come up with these numbers? Well, this is just north of the poverty line. So $500 to a lot of people isn't going to be much money, but for this particular bracket, the particular people that they're targeting, this could be just enough to help them survive for a given month. Which really begs the question, what does success look like in this case? Anytime you roll out a program or a new product or any new service or whatever, you always want to know what success looks like, right? It's how you measure if what you're doing is working or not. In this particular case, what does success even look like? This almost feels to me like the federal government is rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic or putting a band-aid on an amputated arm. They're estimating that they're going to help roughly 1.8 million people, which means the total cost of this program is $900 million. And while that is a lot of money, it's almost not enough to really do anything. I mean, for a lot of these people, it's probably not even going to cover a single rent payment. I mean, the landlords are going to be happy because then at least for 1 month, they're going to have some rental income coming in, some guarantees to that. But beyond that, you're not really actually solving anything long term. And while I get it, this program isn't built to solve anything long term, you almost wonder if the money could be used for something better. So does this mean that you shouldn't apply for it? Well, no. I mean, if you're eligible and you qualify, then why not? I mean, the government is intent on blowing this money out anyway, so why not to you? I do want to put some caution here, though, that you read through the whole program and look thoroughly at the eligibility and requirements before applying for the money. Because if this is anything like CERB, they're likely going to give you the $500 up front and then audit you in the back end to make sure that you actually qualify for it after the fact, and then try to reclaim that money like they did with 260,000 people that applied for CERB. The government and CRA, at least according to the Auditor General, has estimated that they've lost somewhere in the neighborhood of billions of dollars when it came to their application of CERB. They've got quite a bit of egg on their face having gone through that. I don't think they're going to want to repeat that, which means that they're probably not going to pull their punches when they come back to claim their money back if you weren't eligible for some reason. And of course, in typical government fashion, I'm sure they're going to spend more in trying to get the money back than the actual money that they're getting back. Now you might be like, well, why don't they just create a program that helps these low-income families out on a more consistent basis? Well, those programs do exist, and that's kind of what makes this top-up payment a little bit different. You don't need to have qualified for all the other programs in the past. This is a standalone program that anyone over the age of 15 can apply for. On top of that, the government learned over the last couple years while handling the pandemic, the obvious, that if people can get paid for not working the same amount that they can get paid for working, they're going to simply choose to get paid for not working. There's an estimated $1.6 billion of CERB payments that went out to people who actively quit their job during the pandemic. Not lost their job, quit their job, because they were going to make as much money sitting at home than they were going to work. So why not sit at home and receive the checks? Well, the government, at least in this case, is trying not to repeat that. What they want to do is they want to support low-income families, they want to support low-income individuals in helping make ends meet. But they want to help those that are helping themselves or don't have the capacity to help themselves. I think the more shocking thing here, though, is that the government estimates that they're going to help approximately 1.8 million people. And if that's true, I mean, 1.8 million out of 38 million people, what is that, 5%? No, 4.7%. But remember, this is only supposed to help people that are older than 15, because children aren't supposed to be making rent payments. So that leaves a population size of about 32 million. And then on top of that, this is only for renters, so that's a 1/3 of that. So that means that out of all the renters that are out there, the government is estimating that 17% of them fall well below the poverty line. And that doesn't include all the people who make more than the definition of the poverty line, but are still struggling to make ends meet. In Canada, we have a chronic housing problem, and I think that's why I get so particularly frustrated with our current government. Imagine if they had been more diligent when they were handing out the CERB payments, and we didn't lose $3 billion to fraudulent CERB claims. Think of all the houses that we could have built to support low-income families.